Hi, welcome to the STAIR Tailored. I'm Sarah Powell from the University of Texas at Austin, and right now we're focusing on how to subtract positive and negative integers, and with this method we are going to use a positive and negative mat combined with using some manipulatives. So we're going to solve these two problems here, -3 minus 2 and 4 minus -6. Notice how I'm very specific with how I talk about the symbols. I talk about this as being subtraction or the minus sign, and I talk about this as being the negative symbol here. I don't confuse those. I want to be very specific about the symbols that we use in math to work with these numbers. So let's see what this looks like. So we're going to use a positive and negative mat. And so I've drawn a mat here. This is very simple to draw on a whiteboard. Students can do this on their own. And I like to orient my mat in this way because I want to always imagine that this mat somewhat represents a number line running across it, and this point on the number line is 0. So the negative numbers follow to this, negative integers fall to this side, and the positive integers move to that side. So let's look at this first problem, -3 minus 2. So I'm going to start with -3, and I've just got some buttons here, and I'm just going to grab a few buttons, and I'm going to start with -3 buttons, and I'm going to put them on the negative side of my mat. Now this minus sign tells me that I'm going to subtract, and I need to subtract 2. It's not -2, this is +2. So I look over here on my mat on my positive side, and we don't have +2 to take away. So we can use 0 pairs to get to the point where we have 2 positives to take away. So a 0 pair is that I have a positive and a negative, and those are the same. They equal 0. They are a 0 pair. So if I bring in a positive and a negative, I'm not changing the value of my problem here. And I now look over to the positive side. I don't have +2 to take away, so I'm going to bring in another positive and a negative. Now I look to the positive side of my mat, and I see now that I have 2 positive buttons that I can take away. I'm going to go ahead and move those buttons out of our workspace. So when I start with -3 and we subtract +2, our difference is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. Now I can do this, see a different problem in the same way. So here I'm going to start with +4, and I know it's +4 because there is no negative symbol directly in front of the 4. Now I need to subtract -6. We have to ask ourselves, do we have -6 to take away? No. So what can we use to get to the point where we do have -6 to take away? We can use our 0 pairs. So I bring in a positive and a negative. I'm going to bring in another positive and a negative. I'll bring in another positive and negative. Okay, we're getting there. We're closer. I'm going to bring in another positive and a negative, another 0 pair. I'll bring in another 0 pair, and we'll bring in another 0 pair. Now I look over here on the negative side of my mat, and I have -6 that I can subtract. So I'm going to go ahead and move those buttons off, move those -6 buttons away, and now let's figure out our difference. When we have 4 and we subtract -6, our difference is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, +10. 4 minus -6 is +10. So that was a quick example of how we can use a positive and negative mat mixed with some manipulatives to help students understand what it means to subtract integers.